We're in Hirschfelden today at the shooting range. We're going to check out the new Stromberg 10 gauge shotgun. It's one of the new weapon packs in Hunter Call of the Wild. I've been throwing some buckshot down the lane at 50 yards, open sights and scope. The pattern looks pretty tight. Not sure about the penetration. Before we leave Hirschfelden, we may as well take a shot at a few geese with some bird shot. I've got old blinds everywhere. Holy cow, I can't shoot. Thank you. Yeah, it's way better than the original 10 gauge. Man, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, this was about a 20 to 25 yard shot with 10 gauge buckshot, and I got no penetration whatsoever. It's unbelievable. I guess if you're gonna shoot a deer with it, you better make sure it's a nice, close broadside shot. I was on this big buck the other day. We're back in New Hampshire. I got called into work, so I had to jump off this deer's track. I've tried backtracking him. I'm not sure where he's drinking. I've checked. There's 2 ponds about a quarter mile away. He's not using those. I checked the river system. And if I backtrack him, it just seems to die off in the softwoods. So he seems to come up through here in the afternoon. He just works his way up to the top of this ridge, crosses a little road, and then he tends to drop down the other side, and then the same thing happens. He usually turns to the right and heads like northeast, and then I generally lose his track. At this point, I don't think the track is like smoking hot fresh. It's just walking. So I think he's just going to do what he did last time. He's just going to go up, cross the road, and drop down the side of the ridge. And then there's a good chance I'm going to lose his track. But we'll see what happens. I have a plan B. I actually have 2 tree stands that I threw up on different parts of the ridge about 200 yards apart. He has an area he likes to use. But I think he's the only max weight track in this mountain range that I can tell. There's one smaller buck. He's like a 4-pointer. And he drinks at one of the ponds with 3 doe down below. And then the pond next to it, there's 4 doe. So he's the only big buck track that I've seen up in here. I'd love to just pick him out somewhere, but I never get that lucky. I should use the grunt call now and again. I'm going to look for sign that we're getting closer to him. If I find some like fresh droppings, something like that, then we'll see if we can maybe call him in. If someone was to set up a tree stand right here, right on this road, they'd get a crack at this buck sometime between 10 and 2. I'm seeing the same deer activity as last time. There's 4 or 5 doe that come up from the other side of the ridge and go down the backside while he's coming up and going the opposite way. He's headed right for the edge of the ridge. I gotta say, every time I follow this buck, he brings me to like some of the best views on the map. His track's off to the left. Oh, yeah, he's just V-lining it right to the edge. He's gonna dive over. Really pretty spot. I'd like to get a crack at him up here. Got a black bear yelling at me. Unfortunately, I had to jump off the track. Had some other things to take care of, but I jumped up in my tree stand. It's about 100 yards away from where I left the track. It's about 4:30, quarter 5, and I don't see any sign that he came through. But I'm gonna go on a little tour just to see if he circled around me. I don't think he got around me and went on the side of the ridge, but I don't know enough about this deer's behavior. But it's worth a look. If I don't find his track on the side of the mountain, I'm just going to dive off in the direction that he went and see if we can freshen up the track some more down below. There are some beautiful clear cuts on this side of the mountain. I haven't taken any time to really walk through them or check them out, but if he's using them, it's probably towards evening. I mean, right now, without having his track in front of me, it's literally a needle in a haystack event. The views are really stunning up here. He's out there somewhere. Alright, we're going to leave this side of the mountain. I mean, we could still hunt our life away up here, certainly the rest of this evening, and not see anything. So I'm just going to jog along and try to find his track. I got to find out what he's doing. You know, in Call of the Wild, for the purpose of finding a track, I don't see any reason not to run. Cover a lot of ground. I'm not really worried about spooking anything. I'm not worried about falling and breaking my arm or anything. So sometimes you get more done when you're running and cover some ground and try to find the track that you need. I realize this video is getting kind of long. I don't know how much longer it's going to get, but I just want to document a full hunt. You know, my last video, I chopped it up into pieces. I probably took, 4 hours of footage and chopped it down to 3 minutes. Where this is like a full-on recording every minute and keeping it. I guess I'd say it's a very transparent hunt. Of course, as I'm jogging along and talking to myself, I'm not going to keep any of this footage if I don't catch up to the buck. So there's a chance it's all going to get deleted. But it's relaxing. It's fun. I guess that's the whole point of this hunt. It's just a relaxing adventure. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, it's almost dark, but there's still a chance. Huh, that's funny. I thought I saw a red flag off in the distance. Coming up on one of the outposts. What I should do is swap out weapons. I'm not going to bother because it's so late now. It's going to get dark, but all I have for weaponry is that 10 gauge with buckshot. I meant to grab the AR, the 308, but goofed. So I'm just going to keep plugging along. Coming up on some disturbed vegetation. I haven't seen any deer tracks on the way down. I don't know where they are. Bunny track. That's right. There's our buck track. So he spent the whole afternoon down here on the side of this mountain. We're only 300 yards from the top. So he never made it down to the hardwoods. Now the question is, did he go parallel with the top? Did he cut down, or is he going to go right back up to the top and over? I mean, it's getting really late. I really don't care if we jump him at this point. We might be able to pick up a feed zone. It is fun following them through the mountains and get an idea of what they're doing during the day. And it looks like he was trotting right along through here. I mean, I'd like to get lucky and just catch him on this side bank here. I can see tracks off in the distance. It looks like maybe he turned and went back to the top. I'll have to get a little closer to figure it out. I think he went straight up the mountain. I mean, I can see some stuff off to the left. He spent a few seconds over there, but I think generally he went up to the top. Yeah, we're just going to keep on plugging away. I'm going to try to cover the next couple 100 yards as quickly as possible. We are losing light. If it looks like he might be at the top, we'll slow down. I'm going to try to cover some ground here. You know, the track says very old, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's far away. I mean, he could be feeding 200 yards away and he's been there for 2 hours. So it's an old track, but he's close by. I can see his track at the top, so at least we can be confident we're going in the right direction. I can see a lot of activity at the top of the ridge. So he may be feeding up there. We're just going to slow it down. We've got a good wind. I almost feel like we're about to blow it. That deer is hearing me coming and he's going to take off, or he's already taken off. I don't know. I feel like he's right here. The ridge line is very pronounced right here. It's like almost like a finger ridge, but it is the main ridge. It's obviously not standing here anymore. The view is incredible. It's beautiful. I'm going to send him a quick message. I'll listen closely for a second. They tend to make a lot of noise when they start heading in your direction, but I don't hear anything. My question is, did he go right along the spine of the ridge, the top here, or did he drop down to that thick, nasty stuff? Now, the track is still old, but again, it doesn't mean anything. I'm feeling like he went along the top of the ridge. Well, that doe making a mating call just changed my plan. I'm not convinced he's down there, but we can go down and eliminate it because we know there's some deer down there. I can see some disturbed vegetation, like a rest zone, but I don't think it's whitetail. It's not the right time of night, right time of day. It's probably a rabbit or a coyote or something. Certainly not seeing any deer tracks or his tracks. I'm going to need an eye patch by the time I get out of here. We're going to need this to open up. We're just not going to get a shot tonight. It's just going to be another lost adventure. And no matter what, we've seen some pretty country. Actually, I spoke too soon. It opened right up. We could definitely get a shot in here. Or at least maybe find that doe that made the mating call. Oh, and there she is. That's good. We're either going to find that big buck or we're going to find a group of doe. It's hard to tell what's going on. One feeding doe. Two more feeding doe. Trying hard to put horns on them, but doe so far. I'm not sure how many deer are here. Whoa. Oh my God. There he is. I cannot believe it. That buck is way bigger than anything I expected. He's totally calm, so I think it might be worth using the grunt call. I can't take a chance shooting him behind a rock at that angle anyway. If I can get my controller to work, that'd be great. It's crazy. I think he just bolted into the spruces. He literally just ran away. I don't know why. The door getting closer. I think he took off. Yeah, it's not what I expected. The ladies are gonna bust me. It's just gonna make it worse. Come on, get away from me. Oh, there he is. He's still calm. I just need him to step out. Oh, he's dropping. I think we got a vital on him. I don't have any confidence in this 10 gauge, but it's all I had on me, so. It's obviously a huge buck. I'm guessing he's 268 to maybe even max 275.5. Somewhere in that range. I don't like the small blood splatter. I hope this thing penetrated. Well, the buckshot penetrated just enough to get lung. I mean, it didn't go deep, but it counts. So he's 272.24, I think it says, and he's actually a max weight. He's 220 pounds, 100 kilograms. So he's got a huge rack, and he's a max weight buck. I think it said the shot was about 33 meters. He was a lot closer than I thought he was. Probably a good thing. I thought I was reaching out there 50 yards. Anyway, it's been a long video. If you made it this far, I give you a lot of credit. And we'll see you in another one.